Hi everybody, Father Bill Holtzinger here, and this is your Friday Reflection. And I hope this audio works this time. I have been going over this over and over. Last time I gave a recording or did a Friday Reflection, I did it three times, and I think it was the fourth time that finally worked. Something about the microphone, the system. This is a new phone, a new operating system. I'm like, So anyway, praise the Lord. Please, Lord, help this work. So today I want to talk about more of the Walker Road expansion. So last time I did talk about it coming closer to the parish buildings, specifically the parish offices, and that I would engage with what I call a dreaming committee. So I have actually then scheduled what I'm calling a dreaming summit for the committee. And I think I've talked to pretty much everybody that I wanted to have on the committee. There's some 25 to up to 27 persons on it from all kinds of walks of the parish, from different ministries, from different ethnicities, different interest groups, all kinds of things, people that use the buildings. And what we're going to do is the following. We're going to meet, and this is going to happen through November. Hopefully we'll only use November for this dreaming part. From that, the meetings in the November time frame, the Dreaming Summit, I'm calling it, the folks will then, first of all, talk about what the mission is, what our priorities are, and then try to categorize or get those priorities somehow in some order so that we can understand, with the Walker Road expansion happening, how do we need to respond, in what order. And we're looking to really a 10 to 25 year kind of big picture of the parish. Of course, as we go further out, like to 25 years, I probably won't even be here, and the needs will have changed by then. But the Archdiocese, when we meet with them for buildings and things like that, having gone through this system or this approach myself before in my previous parish, they're going to ask, what is your long-range plan? And that's, what does the facilities look like 25 years from now? So that's kind of part of the bigger goal. So that means it's not going to conclude with absolutely this is how it has to be, but it's going to give us some information from another committee that will follow after this regarding the actual architecture and location for whatever, like again, the parish office, if we're moving it or extending it or whatever we're going to do. So in this first meeting, can we get those priorities? And that might take up the whole time just to figure that out. And then after that, once we get that going, we may have another meeting then where we'll, again, it's very fluid, but we'll meet and have maybe a picture of the campus and have little drawings where we might want to put things, or talk about where things might go if they do, and how they interrelate with each other, because things, one thing leads to another. If we have now the offices are right across one of the driveways from the church. I know that in the previous potential relook or look at it with Father Dave's time, was one idea was to put it out where the Stations of the Cross are, but the issue with that would be then you have to walk all the way across the parking lot to get to the church itself, and that's a lot of walking back and forth, let's say for the priest and anybody else that's a staff member. But anyway, the idea is to get the pros and the cons of what might we use, again, not the detail of what's necessarily in them, but just ideas of what buildings we might need, how they might be augmented, where they might go. And again, it's all might. And we end with this idea that we can then give over to the next committee. The next committee being an architectural committee, where it's made up of a different group of people, maybe a subset of what's already gone through with the Dreaming Committee, but people that have expertise in the areas of buildings and ownership and construction and all that kind of stuff, just to get a sense of what's realistic, what's something that's fantastically expensive that would be unrealistic, etc., and then play around with the ideas that were given to us from the Dream Committee and go that far. That's a whole other committee. The Dream Committee, the Dreaming Committee, and the Dreaming Summit will be in November, and maybe one weekend on or one meeting in December. But then we're going to take a break because of all the wonderful things going on in the parish. All the November things, Thanksgiving breaks, Christmas, First Reconciliation services. It just gets busy in Advent, etc. And then when the new year comes in 2025, either January or February, we'll pick up with the idea of looking into this architectural committee, which will then kind of get more into the nitty-gritty. Again, big picture, as we start getting further out, it becomes very flexible because, having done some of this before, it incarnates itself differently in every place. So what would follow after architecture kind of reflection is to actually engage with an architect, maybe consider talking to a contracting company, and then also a feasibility or a company that will help us do a feasibility study and fundraising. Those kind of get mushed in together. Meanwhile, we're also talking to the Archdiocese Building Commission to get any advice that they'll have. Once we do have then possibly some idea for plans, then we would do a fundraising campaign. Again, this is all big picture. Don't know when that'll be. It may not be 2025. It could be 2026. I mean, how far it goes, I don't know. Be mindful, of course, that, as I mentioned, Walker Road's expansion starts in this coming June and goes for 2.5 years. I don't think we'll have a building done by the time all that's done, but we'll see. I have no idea. Again, everything's fluid as you get further out because a lot of unknowns. Then once we've done the campaign, the idea is to be able to secure the funds based on what the feasibility said that we could do. Then we can then start construction of whatever that is, or however we've discerned it to be, and what's feasible for us. And then the actual construction occurs, and we're done pretty much. Obviously the fundraising has to complete, etc. But my sense is that's so far out. I'm not really paying a lot of energy and attention to that part. The first thing, which is a Dreaming Summit. So pray for this, a Dreaming Committee and Dreaming Summit that they will be participating in through the month of November. And it's going to be great. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff that is the dreaming and pondering and then the details with professionals that know what they're doing more than I do, because I'm a priest. So this weekend, Father Anthony's back, and he will be preaching the homilies. And so I will look forward to seeing you this weekend. All right? God bless. Bye-bye. Boy, I hope the audio will work this time. Oh, boy.